And over in France, a possible ban on TikTok. French senators published the results of an investigation into the Chinese video sharing app. They say TikTok should not be described as a business, but rather as an intelligence operation. They're calling on the platform to make significant changes and clarify its links to China, or else it should be suspended in the country and possibly in Europe. NTD's France correspondent David Vives spoke to some of the senators.
A wall of opacity. That's how French senators describe how TikTok executives conducted themselves during an inquiry. For 4 months, a special Senate commission conducted hearings with France's lobbyists from the Chinese video sharing platform, as well as researchers. Senators said most of the time they were stonewalled by TikTok executives on the firm's ties with the Chinese regime. Senators said at some point hearings became a farce, as executives refused to answer most of the questions.
We had questions about the business model. We had questions about advertising, and very concrete questions about cybersecurity and data storage. And the answers we got were all smiles. They weren't concrete answers to our questions. We reached out and proposed interviewing the director and managers of TikTok France, but these requests always went unheeded.
The report pointed out the role of TikTok in the Chinese regime's cognitive warfare against the West. This includes the subversion of its users, as an intense use of TikTok can cut them off from their environment, education, history, and culture. Medical experts said the app's algorithm can draw teenagers into an enclosure bubble, which sometimes has a strong impact on their well-being. Senators said they are very concerned how TikTok collects and stores data. One senator said TikTok is not a business, but rather an intelligence operation. Senator Maluret supports this point.
Startups, on the other hand, operate on a model. You lose money for a few years, then there's the prospect of profits. This profit perspective is much less clear-cut than in other areas of TikTok. There's a second component, which is political, notably through data collection, disinformation, and a certain amount of fake news that doesn't exist at all on other platforms, but which is very present on TikTok. So yes, there's an economic, ethical aspect, as well as a political aspect, particularly in relation to the Chinese regime.
The Commission said the Chinese platform should be given until January to comply with its recommendations. They include transparency on the company structure and to limit the use for minors to 60 minutes a day. If TikTok doesn't come clean in 6 months, the Commission said they will ask the government to ban it in France and give further recommendations to the EU Commission. Maluret says he's not optimistic TikTok will comply.
We have promises, but we don't have results, so I don't see why there should be any in the coming months. We'll have to get them through injunctions, and that's what we've asked the French government and the European Commission to do in our recommendations. Since we can't get this or that information, this or that action, we are not going to ask for it either, but impose it.
A recent survey found while French law forbids under 13-year-olds to use TikTok, over 60% said they actually do use it. David Vives, NTD News, Paris.